Hello everybody. So I'm in Bali now. It's raining and I don't know if you are able to hear me properly. So if you can let me know, that will be awesome. And here is 2 a.m. I didn't realize how late it's going to be for for doing this and be in the time that is good for you, people in Europe. So please, if you can write in the comments if you hear me good, because it's raining outside and it's thunder. Well, it's 2 a.m. so I look a little bit restless. I'm trying to fix now my computer that I can read also the comments in case that I get lost. No, where I went? Well, today we have the chat of the Ayahuasca training. Okay, for many people it's very good. Good night, everybody. Thank you for being here watching. And greetings from Bali. I cannot find myself. Thank you. So, let's start this. Thank you, Christina, for your nice comment. So, many people has been asking me that they want to start to have their shamanic training, to work with plants, and many of these people don't have really any idea about what this is about. I'm going to share my own experience of how my training was done. And I'm going to be very honest about this work, because this is a very serious work that demands a lot of detachments, not sacrifice. Because when one to achieve something in life, when one really it's commit with finding your life purpose, there is not sacrifice, but it's a path that you need to be ready to do everything that is that the universe or the plants are going to ask from you. So for begin with this, most of the good shamans I have met and that I know, and I will include me here, not because I'm good shaman, but because it's also my case. We really never have the intention to become a shaman. For me, when I start working with ayahuasca with myself in the jungle in Peru, the last thing I could think was to become a shaman, to become an ayahuasquero. Ayahuasquero is the person that works with ayahuasca, basically. So when I came to Iquitos, which was the place where I was doing my training, my intention was to heal my depression. My intention was to find answers for my life. I will never, ever, ever imagine myself, at that time, leaving everything behind and going to do a training of a plant that I had never tried really. I didn't know anything about ayahuasca. I just saw one documentary when I was 16, and then I met a shaman and I talked with that person. And that was all the information that I have about ayahuasca. I had never read books, I never watched movies, nothing. It was a short documentary I saw when 16, And there I was when I was 22, leaving my profession as a lawyer and going to find myself. So I have been suffering from depression since I can remember, really. My childhood was good. Hello, May. Was good. But also it has, my life has many ups and downs emotionally, mainly connected with finding emptiness in myself and not really understanding what's my life purpose, not really understanding what we are doing here in this, planet. What's the deal here as humans? So when I came to the Amazon, and the first time, I needed to confront all my fears. I was really afraid of darkness. And I was in the jungle with the indigenous people. Let me remember, my teacher was a Witoto, his wife was Jaguar. They're from these tribes, the Witotos and the Jaguar tribe, and they were living inside of the Amazon. So they didn't have electricity there, and as well they didn't have toilets or anything like that. So I was totally out of my comfort zone. I come from a family where we are not, poor, we are not rich either. We are like a middle class. So my mother always have make sure that to give me the best. So basically, I was a very spoiled person, to say it like that. So when I came to the jungle there to heal my depression, it was very, very, very difficult for me because I was afraid of darkness. I didn't have toilets. It was a lot of mosquitoes. It was everything new for me. I mean, from being a person, I had been born in the jungle, but in a town where I have comfort, and I was studying in the university, in a good university, so I have been used to to be very comfortable in my life. So and I did a 360 degrees change when I decided to go to the jungle. As I say, it was when I came there, I never knew, or I didn't knew how long I'm going to be there. It was not planned. I just went there to see what's going to happen. The first test in that time, in order for me to find answers, was to leave everything behind. That included, as many of you know, my profession as a lawyer. Because you kind of really, be in the middle of nowhere and then keep working. It was a little bit difficult. And also I needed to, let go my friends, my family, in order for me to find what I needed to find. I have just my motivation to heal my depression was bigger than my fear for darkness. And my fear for darkness was so bad that I could not sleep without lights. Like since I'm a child, I never sleep with the lights off. And I was 22 when I was there. And I still having, the problem that I could not sleep with not lights. At least that I was sleeping with my mother or, then I could sleep with the lights off. And also, for me, being in the jungle where it's all dark, to go to the toilet every night was a nightmare for me because the toilets were a couple of meters, away from the house where we were staying. And this toilet was a hole in the ground. And if it was raining, well, you need to run there and do your best. So I needed to, face in the night to go to the toilet, even when I was afraid of the dark. And this is, facing something without the intention to become a shaman. This is just facing my fears to first heal myself. So the first part of my training was to heal myself. Imagine that I will have all these fears and I just, say, oh yeah, I'm going to become a shaman, and I stay 1 month there and I don't fix these things and I help people. Like, how in earth you will be able to help people? A shaman cannot have fear of any kind. Of any kind. So, let's continue. I was, with this problem with the toilets, as well, the ceremonies, the people that has been in the jungle knows that the places where there are not really centers, the place where I was, it was from indigenous people, so they really, knew about comfort and these things. So the toilet, it was outside the maloca, and the maloca was like high. It was a building that was high, so it was a stairs, really high stairs. Then they were broke, and I didn't have flashlights, so I remember we needed to use the moonlight when we have ceremonies with the moonlight. And then, the toilet was again a hole somewhere between the trees, really far away from the maloca. And I have the fear for darkness, and I needed to go to the toilet, and I was in the middle of ayahuasca, facing all my demons. So it was really, really hard for me all to pass and to overcome all this. It took me 6 months there in the jungle until I could overcome my darkness, my fear for darkness, until ayahuasca spoke with me and show me, this I have shared before, and show me a baby in a tree, and she told me that baby is you, and you need to remember that when you came here, you was not thinking about being afraid, you was just surrendered to life, and it was full of trust. So you need to go back to that safe place inside of yourself. And then she showed me other beautiful things. I cannot really remember everything right now because it has passed now 8 years since that moment. But after that ceremony, I was immediately healed from my fear of darkness. And I was able to be outside of the maloca. I was able to walk alone in the jungle, even without flashlight. All my fear for darkness went away once the trust came back in my heart. And this was, after 6 months. Now, there are some programs that I read now that, many centers are being offering different places, inside the jungle, outside the jungle in Peru, telling people that, you can go and do, 1 year of training and you are going to become a shaman. There is no warranty in the time for you to become a shaman. It's all up to how many of your limitations, how many of your fears you overcome. So if you do it in a short period, I don't say it's impossible. It's not possible, to do it in a short time. But it's all up to every person, and that's one part. One part is the healing that you do while you're there. Then the other part is the technical part, which involves to learn how to work with the energies. What means how to work with energies? To be able to hold a safe space for the people that is going to come to your ceremonies. And that involves many things, such the understanding, or the importance of opening a ceremony, for example, or closing a ceremony, for example, of being able to help a person to come back to his or to her body. So there are these technical details that, your teacher can explain to you. But if you have not been experienced, if the understanding of this has not come within you, then it's not point that your teacher can explain to you, thousands of times. You will simply not get it and don't know how to do it. It's not just, how to say it. It's not just taking a mapacho and then smoking it and say, oh yeah, to the spirits of the north, to the spirits of the south, I ask for permission. No, it is beyond that. It's respect that we have, a feeling that we need to have in the place that we are doing, permission that we need to ask. It's not a merely act. It's not a show. There are all these things that needs to come within you. And what is going to determine that you are going to receive this information? Well, there are, different factors. One is that the plant likes you. And if the plant likes you, the spirits of the plant likes you, they are going to teach you. Even if your teacher doesn't want to share anything with you, it doesn't matter, because the plant wants to teach us, and the plants are the teachers. That's how your teacher learn. A real shaman is the one that can go beyond the conceptualization, and it's able to have this clear communication with the spirit world, and be able to to use that information, to understand that information in this reality. Then there are many points to talk about the training for the ayahuasca shamans. So if sometimes I stop with one subject and then I go to another one, please, it's going to be time if you have any questions as well to write there. So don't worry. So what, the shamans in the Amazon, what they do, how they connect with the spirits of the plants. In the Amazon, and this is one thing that is different of many other shamanic practitioners, and this is also why our tradition has stayed, very long. And that's why our tradition, it keeps passing the traditional knowledge. Very, very few details has changed since, the first shamans that got in touch with ayahuasca. And this is because of the dietas. And the dietas, many people confuse the dietas with, if we translate to English, it means diets. But many people confuse the word diet with preparation for ceremonies. It's not the same. The preparation for attending a ceremony is very different from the dieta. Yet the dieta, it's a voluntarily decision of isolate yourself to follow certain rules in a place where you are not, in contact with civilization, basically a place in nature where you are able to listen yourself. And in this time, because you remember the word diet, it means a restriction of things. So during this time, you are going to be restricted from many things. Because in order to connect with the plants, with the spirits of the plants, you need to open yourself. You need to clean yourself. You need to clear yourself. You need to become empty, so that all your senses get in tune, get pure for you, and also for the plant to be able to have a contact with you. The plants are always talking with us, but it's us that we are blocked, and it's while we are doing these dietas where we are unblocking ourselves, that we are able then to listen to the plants. So for a period of time, the people that is doing their trainings for become ayahuasca shamans, they are taking different plants. There are shamans that they just specialize in one or two plants, so they diet that plant for a year, 2 years, 3 years, depending of them, and also depending of the teacher that they have. And there are shamans, which is this my case, that we do diets with different plants. And when you do the diets with different plants, there is also, a sequence. Like, depending of your life and your age, you, for example, start with plants that are going to be to clear your energy first. After that, it's going to come plants, like, for example, if you have blocks in your mind or in your heart, then plants that are going to help specific chakras. In the Amazon, the shamans, they don't speak about chakras, or energy points, because they know about these points, but they don't have the words to put it. Yeah, I know the word chakra and this because I have read it and I understand what it is. But many shamans in the Amazon, they will not explain to you, like, in this way, mixing a little bit the language. But I use it just for you to understand better. So then the shamans are going to see, in which energy points in your body or which chakras you're having problems. And is your teacher that in the beginning is going to decide for you what is the plans for you. And this, your teacher does it first having a ceremony with you. And in this ceremony, the spirits of the plants that wants to connect with you will show to the shaman. And normally, the spirits of plants that are going to be shown to the shaman are the ones that the shaman already knows. The shaman already is in touch with. It's very unusual, but not impossible, that other plants comes and to be shown to the shaman, because in the visuals or in the visions, in the visionary aspect of ayahuasca, you can be able to see, a tree, a plant, and because these people is living in the Amazon, they can identify, each different plant from each other. It's not like when you live in the city and you go to the jungle, and it's all, a big green mess. You don't know one thing from the other. But when you're living there, you know the different kind of plants. So when the visions comes to the shaman with, a specific plant, they know which plant it is. So this is the first part. The plant choose you. Choose what you are going to start with. But normally are the plants that are, like I say, for cleaning your energy. After you have done a couple of these diets with these master plants, we call it then master plants because these master plants are plants that have something to teach you. They have a knowledge, they have a wisdom. You will be able then to see for yourself which plants are the ones that wants to connect with you. It will come in your visions. But this happens after a while. And then is when you see that you start to progress in your connection with the spirits of the plants. Because then, your teacher, it's going to be needed for a different things. Not anymore to see which plants you needed, but now you are going to have the capacity to see for yourself what's the plants. This is one part. This is so big to explain in a video. So let's go back to the restrictions of the diet. Now we have the plan. We have the plan that the shaman has decided for us to do the diet. So what we are going to do now for this connection to start between the plant that wants to work with us and and us. So what the plant is going to demand from us? It's going to demand, of course, that we are alone, because it's going to be rude, don't you think, that you want to establish a relationship and you are busy with other things? So logically, you need to be alone, spending time with this energy. That's why we do it in isolation and in the environment of the plants. That's why we are, in a place where it's plants and trees and this, or in the jungle. Then the food. When I was doing my training, I was doing different things. Like in the beginning, I was eating farinha. For the people that knows, farinha is the really nasty stuff that is made of mandioca, and it's like rocks. And we mix it with water, and I have a cup a day from that. But then after that, my teacher was really feeling sorry for us, so he allowed us to eat rice and lentils once a day. Just once a day, without salt. That was all. I have been doing these diets for 1.5 years. in the, with different plants. So for 1.5 years, I have been eating rice and lentils. And also sometimes I will just do fasting, or fasting with water. I will just drink water and nothing else. Especially in the beginning, because you remember I was afraid of darkness, so I didn't want to go to the toilet. So I tried to eat the less possible. But later I was, when I was healed of that, I started to eat a little bit more. But yeah, the food, it's a restriction because you want to put in your body less distractions possible. So everything that you put in your body, remember, that contains an energy. So if you eat, for example, a carrot or a potato or, I don't know, salad, each of these things has a different energy, a different personality. So these energies are going to be in competition with the plant that you want to connect with. And if you want to give exclusivity to this plant, then it's the only thing that you can ingest is that plant. And why we eat, lentils and rice? Because if you think in the energy or the vibration, it has really low vibration. It doesn't have a high vibration that can interfere really, with your connection with the plant. And there are other things that shamans also eat, like it's green banana grilled, that is also allowed to eat during the diet. That I really don't know, because I have not done diets with that. But all the things about the food is the ayahuasca itself, and also the plants that are instructing you. Coconut water is also okay, because it doesn't have, it's just electrolytes it doesn't have really a strong energy. It's more about for the physical than for the energy part. The energy part may. But yeah, it's some people that they do just the diet with the water of the coconut, but you cannot eat really the meat. And okay, what I was saying, I got lost. Okay, the food. Then, apart from the food, then the other restriction that we have is, of course, sex. For obvious reasons, if you want to connect with the plant, you don't have time, for doing this kind of social interactions there. And also because and in the moment of the orgasm, you are going to release the energy. And you remember you're opening to receive this energy. So if you have an orgasm, while you're doing this connection and you're not finished, you are just going to release it. So when we are learning about these things, we even need to be careful with our dreams, because in our dreams also comes the temptations, and especially for the guys. So my teacher, I remember that he always tell us we need to watch our dreams, because even in our dreams we are going to be tested. And it's true. And when I was, I don't know, when after 6 months I started to drink with food, and I have these crazy drinks, like I love grill. So I will drink, with a street full of ladies selling grill stuff, meat and the smoke, and I will smell it, and they will offer it to me, and I will be there, and I will be running like, no, I'm in a diet. Because, your dreams are the extension of your consciousness, and your subconscious. So it's a way to see also your commitment, with what you are doing. So for me, I was so committed, even in my dreams. In my dream state, I remember, no, I'm doing a diet, I cannot. So people come in my dreams, also invite me to go out, to have drinks. Guys would come to seduce me, and I'm like, no, I cannot, sorry, I'm in a diet, and I need to run away in my dreams. So even in that level, it's important to have the commitment and not to break your commitment with the plant. Because when you're doing a diet, this is a contract that you do. And this is, not and because it's not in a paper, it doesn't mean that if you break it doesn't have consequence. It has even bigger consequence than, signing the contract. Because you are taking time from an energy. You are giving your word. So many times, when a person has broke a diet, the way to fix it is to then do the diet again and double time. So if you're supposed to do 10 days, diet with the plant, then and you break it, you need to do it 20 days. And why? Because there are some plants that can make you ill. Because remember that this is not a joke. You are going to work with energies that are stronger than you think. And when you are not serious about what you're going to do, then this, the plants can, it's not a punishment really, but it's just a consequence for the actions that you are, doing to yourself. The plants doesn't have judgment for us, and the plants just give us what we want, what we are looking for. So we have talked about the food, about the sex. They also during the diets, we are not allowed to, for example, use any kind of chemical products like shampoos or deodorants or toothpaste. So just water, and the toothbrush, because everything that our body is perfect how it is, but we put so many things, and this can block also our energy. It affects, we are not conscious about that, but it affects our meridians. I don't know if you people know about the meridians, and also our aura. And it's important, we are opening, we are clearing, so that we don't put these things. And it's a way also for the body to purify in all levels. Yeah, so when you do a diet, I say it's like it's a completely meditation where all the body, the mind, and the emotions is 24 hours. It's not, just sitting and closing your eyes for a couple of hours. No, this is being fully present, starving, and being able to maintain your commitment, to maintain your center. And it's a lot of people that have problems just, with the fat, or for example, not having sex, or not being able to eat. And when I met these people, like, yeah, they want to learn, but they cannot really do the diet, because they love food so much. It's like seriously, and you want to learn? Well, and I always say, if you really are committed, the food is always going to be there waiting for you. But the opportunities that we have in life comes and goes. So when we are doing the dietas, we are also be able to see all the weaknesses, all the attachments that we have. There is a time, where when you're alone, when you realize that you cannot blame anybody for all the emotions that you're experiencing, like sadness, anger, all these things start to show up. And then you need to look at it and to see from where it's coming. And that's how you start to heal yourself. When you realize that it's all inside of you, all in your hands, and nothing really to blame outside, is when we learn to have, I don't know how to say control over our emotions, but balance, where we learn to balance. And then we became more patient. We became more tolerant. Because, people, when you're going to work with other people, these are qualities that you will need. You need a lot of patience when you start working with plants. You need a lot of tolerance. You will need a lot of compassion. So that's why it's so important to first heal yourself and to pass through all these different stages inside of you, that you are able to understand, the human beings that are going to come to you. Because if you have not suffered yourself, how you're going to demand people to change if you have not changed yourself? With which moral you're going to use to tell people, it's not good for you to drink when you are drinking, or don't do this and do that when you do it yourself. So it's the work with the plants is a really, really serious work. Now in the technical part, like I was saying, all these rituals that we do, it has a deeper meaning, that when you are able to understand it, then you will see the seriousness of maintain this parts, because now the modern way of working with, because there are people that they just go one morning in the jungle and do a diet and they are shamans, or they drink 3 times ayahuasca and they think they know everything, and they are not able to learn these things, and then things goes wrong with people, and then they don't know what to advise when things happens, because with ayahuasca you are entering in dimensions, so many different dimensions, inside of you, outside of you. And you need to be able to walk through all of that. And you need to be able to sustain every single soul that is going to be there for you. With you. That you are going to bring there. So this is not a fairy tale to become a shaman. There is really, really, any of my friends that are really committed, are in their full sense. None of us wanted to do this. But life has put us in this. I mean, now I see why, I need to pass through all my depression and blah, 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 because it was that what is going to bring me to find this. If I will be a happy person from the beginning, I will not, have the need to look for ayahuasca. I will not have the need for heal myself. I will not have the need for being in this path, because my life will be already perfect, isn't it? So everything that happens in our life, it has a reason. And many times we complain, about our life because of our ignorance. But if we are really perseverant with our dreams, then we are going to find answers. We are going to find out. I see people trying to give up without even really trying, and really trying. And there are people that tells me, like, but I don't have money, to go, and the life that I'm having, to go do my training, and the life that I'm having is really killing me. And I say, but we want to become a shaman, then work hard in whatever work that you need to do. And it doesn't matter, because if you really want to be a shaman, then there should not be excuse. You should, work happy, because you know what is going to come after that, Many people just think oh yes, magically your fairy tale mother will appear and ping, here is everything. We need to work for everything. Nothing in my path has happened without me moving a finger. Without me being asking, to do strong things. Like leaving my marriage, I have shared in another video my path when I started to travel Europe, when I didn't have friends in Europe, when nobody knew me. This is 3 years ago, and when I was invited to do this work. Because even after I have been in the jungle 3 years of my life, for the first 1.5 years doing the diets that I was telling you, and the other 1.5 years assisting my teacher and assisting other shamans, because I never wanted to be a shaman. I was happy with, supporting my teachers, supporting my friends that they were already shamans, and taking care of their backs, to say it like that. I was happy being there. But then it was a point in my life where I needed to embrace myself. Because that's the next step, you have learned all these things, and then you need to stand for yourself. There is always evolution in this path. There is never, you never really get stuck. And if you see somebody in this path that, is not constantly evolving, then run and run and run really fast. So I have need to leave, my family, my friends, in more than one opportunity. I have been asked to trust blindly what was my mission, here in Europe. Like I was telling you, I'm 30 years old. When I started this journey, I was 27. And I was asking, when the invitation came, who I am to start doing this. And I spoke with the spirits, and I say, you know how many shamans are coming to Europe? You know how many years of experience these shamans has? Why people will come to me? Why people will choose to come to my ceremonies? And they told me, because you have the same knowledge. Because you have the same training. And because everybody has a beginning. And then with these words, and I, accept my mission. you can check my testimony of my path, because that is another 45 minutes of talking, and this is not about that. It's focusing the ayahuasca training. You can find it in my blog or in YouTube, Naisha Silva, my spiritual path. That's the name, and then you can hear all the history of how I started working here in Europe, really. So continuing with the ayahuasca, we talk about the food restrictions and why. We talk about the sex. Sorry, I'm going to read some of your comments. I'm trying to remember other of the rules. May was asking, how does somebody who has been under antidepressants to prepare for diets? It is advisable for them to do diets. People with antidepressants, they have two options. One is to speak with their doctors and to see how they can slowly leave the antidepressants, and then they need to have a detox. So they know that there is not more, medication in their blood. It can be with Cambo, after you have made sure that your body will not have any withdrawal. Then it's safe, like for example, to do Cambo. Or the other way is to do Iboga, because Iboga has the property of reset the body. So when people really doesn't have time, to go through slowing the medications, and then the other option is Iboga, but that's a really, really also strong thing to do. And you need to do it with the right people, because with Iboga, it's not like ayahuasca. With Iboga, if you don't know how to work, you can kill somebody, because nobody really knows how much is the exactly amount, and it can be lethal. It affects the heart. So it's some things that needs to be checked. But it really helps to reset the system. Like Iboga can even heal heroin addiction. I think 90% of the people that has done it had succeed with healing from the heroin addiction. May. Okay, then there is a part when you finally have learned, like the spirits are talking with you, they are teaching you things, about how to work with their energies. Because remember, every plant that you are going to connect with during your diets is going to give you different information, and it's going to teach you how to use it. Like some plants are to open the heart, some plants are to work in the mind, some plants to clear the energy for protection. So during all this time, you are gathering also your tools for work. After this, you also start receiving your Icarus, and the Icarus, this is one of the most important parts in the work with ayahuasca. The Icarus are the music that we sing in the ceremonies, and these are gifts. These are gifts given by the spirits of the plants. So there are some teachers that they like to teach, to their students their own Icarus. But for me personally, if I will have people in my church teaching, my teacher never ever sit with me and told me you need to learn this Icarus. He let me connect with the plants until I start to receive the Icarus from the spirits first. So after I have started, receiving this Icarus, then is when I was able to help him in the ceremonies. That's when he is allowed me to help him, when he allowed me to sing. Because when you get into that level of connection, when you are able to receive the music for the ceremonies, then you can work with the vibration. Because remember, the music, the sound is vibration, and our bodies are water. So the sound works in the water, through the vibration, and that's how the healing is done. Because the water in our bodies can change what is the word? The composition of the water the crystals that is in the water can change. So if you want to check more about this, you can read the books of Dr. Emoto, let me Google it, and the Miracles of Water. He has been doing a research about, how the sound affects water. And this is exactly what the shamans in the Amazon have been doing, through the music, directing the energy, directing the vibration in the right way, so that the water in your body reaccommodate to its original state. That's how really the healing is performed. And if it will be, scientists that are able to measure, how the water is changing and blah, blah, blah. Yamamoto Masaru, exactly, Maria, thank you. Then you finally have understood. But even though when you have received the Icarus, it doesn't mean that you are a shaman already. Because I was saying, that's the another part. Now you can sing. But now you need to have experience, in the ceremonies. So I was then assisting, as I was saying, my teacher. And this opportunity of helping him just by singing has allowed me to see, how really the work is done. Because as much ceremonies that you have, people that comes, then you're able to really see, how the energies are working. You will start to open more and more. And then there is a point in the work with the plants, like with ayahuasca, where you feel completely sober. Like you feel that that's your natural state. Because many people that drinks ayahuasca or other plants, they feel like they're a little bit drunk. They cannot walk and all these things. Or they cannot see clearly with the eyes. But there is a point where you are completely, that's your state. That's what is normal for you. And that's when you finally, for example, can drink ayahuasca and go outside and not being affected by any energy, because you have mastered your connection with the plants. You have mastered how to work with the energy, how to maintain your center. It doesn't matter wherever you are. So, and that's also one thing I say. The shaman, even if it's a earthquake or whatever is happening in the ceremony, is always need to maintain its center. The shaman is the last one that can fall. It's like the captain of the boat. This is the last one in jump, even if things are going wrong. And then we have, another part in the ceremony that is why we protect the space. Like many people don't really think about this. And it's because, there are so many different kinds of energies. There are good energies, there are bad energies. It doesn't mean that, the bad energies are not good ones. Maybe in the reality they are good, but for our experience, sometimes certain energies are not good. And then we need to know how to deal with it, I write a lot about people being, possessed, like demons, energies, and it's because I have seen it in all these years of working. Sometimes different problems of people are because of energy parasites that are in them, and demons, not only blocks. So, and this is what we, confront them in the ceremonies. That's why some people they get scary and they say, oh, there is a dark side in ayahuasca, but ayahuasca is not dark. It's just showing you what is out there, And then the work of the shaman, like I say, is to remain center. And that's why I say a shaman cannot have fears, because it's going to confront or to interact with these kind of things, in their clients and in their ceremonies. And it needs to know how to deal with this. And a way of getting rid of demons, for example, is through the singing, because, as I say, it has a high vibration that, dark energies cannot handle. They just go away. So these are just, a few things that I remember now about my training. And then after that, after I have done my practices with my teacher, I say then I was when I received the invitation to start working by my own. And that you can check it in the other video, because that's also another long history. So somebody was asking, I'm going to ask some of your questions that I see here. Matt Mateo was asking, how do you know you were called to be a shaman? What happened to make you know that? Well, this is what I'm saying, that I need to... It's a long thing, so if you have time, people, I can say it. during all my training, the plants were teaching me, and they were not inviting me formally, to work with them. They were just happy that I was able to talk with them and this. Everybody else around me, they were calling me that I'm a shaman, but I always refuse and say, no, I'm not a shaman, and blah, blah, blah. Until 3 years ago, when I was in Sweden, I was living in the North Pole. Oh my, the thunders. Can you hear me? I was living in the North Pole, and then I was married as well, and things started to go really bad there, and I felt that I started to get ill. And then I have the visit of a spirit, and it's what we know as angels, and they spoke with me, and they told me that I needed to start a mission in Europe with what I have learned in the jungle in my time of the training, and that's my path. And first I was like, refusing that, but the message keep repeating so intensely that I need to ask for a confirmation. And I was not taking ayahuasca or any plants. I was completely sober when this spirit came to talk with me, and it was like a telepathic conversation. And I asked, like, please, you need to give me a strong confirmation about, me working with the plants. And they told me that day, this was in September 3 years ago, that day was the day where Archangel San Rafael was celebrated in many spiritual religions or practices. And I was okay, but I didn't know about angels in that time. So I Googled it, and then I found exactly that exactly day was the day where people were celebrating Archangel San Rafael. And then I read about Archangel San Rafael and who is this guy. And he's the archangel that protects travelers and healers. And exactly that's what they were asking me to do, to travel, in Europe, to deliver what I know, to do the healing work with the medicines. And then is when I asked, but, I'm young, and what I will do. I don't have friends here, I don't have family, nobody really knows me. And then just things start to happen automatically. Like I got in touch in that same week with the people that knows about angels, and they add me on Facebook. I have a really nice conversation. They came back with me. They really didn't know me. This person has never met me in person, and that same day when I got in touch with this person, told me that he's going to ask his people from the angel circle to see if they can help me. And then he came back a couple of hours later telling me that he and his wife are living a couple of hours from where I was living, 3 hours to be exactly, and whenever I need it, they can come and pick me. And that I have house to stay with them, and I have place to travel in Netherlands and to start my mission. And that they are going to teach me about angels and these things. So everything happens, like synchronized, that it was just impossible to deny everything that was happening. And for this time, I also was starting to write articles in the internet. All what you see in my blogs, that's how I start to put, because I found so much ignorance in Facebook and in internet that I say, like, well, you cannot just be grumpy about, you need to do something. So I started writing, and I opened a group as well in Facebook, and then in these groups I post that I'm going to travel Europe, and in exchange for a place to stay, for what I know, I can go there. So then people start to invite me to their countries, and start inviting their friends, and that's how little by little I start to travel here and there. But I was in a point in my life where I was so ready, to be happy and to really embrace my path and to embrace who I am, that I really didn't care if I will end in the streets, but I will be happy at least. And the thing that the plants told me, or the spirit told me, that I need to trust. I need to trust that everything is going to be okay, and yeah, I need to, to travel. So in the beginning, nobody support me, not my friends, not my family. I was basically, crazy for all these people around me for what I was doing. But of course now, 3 years later, like, they are very proud of me. But in the beginning, nobody really was. But anyway, you can read more with more details. You can check it with more details, this testimony, on my YouTube account, Naisha Silva, and then my spiritual part, or in my blog. You can check it there also. That's 45 minutes testimony. So that's, how I knew I was called for be a shaman. But also, like I say, everything in life has a reason, and once you are able to see, once you find your path, every single detail in your life will just have resonance, everything. So if you say to me, when I knew I was called to be a shaman, I will say, before I was born. Before I was born, it was planned, Now life is going to push you to find you in that position when that's the only thing that has sense for you. When it's your life of death, kind of. But even though, there are people that they know that they can walk this path, but they don't want. And we always have a choice. But the thing is that also the people that are meant to be shamans, and they don't want to be, they know how life is going to be anyway. How life is going to end, in a normal society. And then everybody of these people just choose to come into the path. Somebody was asking, what's the best way to deal with exorcism during an Ayahuasca ceremony? Well, for exorcism, it's different things. Depends on the entity, because the demons' energies, they have different levels of consciousness. And then apart from the demons, there are parasites that I was telling. That's different from demons, The parasites are like, how to explain it, like bacteria. They look like sometimes like insects that they attach, and they, like parasites, they just, are feeding from our energy. The demons, on the other hand, they have a purpose of stopping you from, from your path, kind of, from stopping you from your mission. And they feed from pain, from suffering, and these things. So how we do? Oh my God, the thunder! So how we normally do is first we check, how strong is this energy. Until now, it was always possible to take it in a weekend, but also it's important that the person that has the demon is aware, so that it can help us to take it out, because we need the consentment of the person to take out this entity. Yeah, we cannot like interfere in anybody's paths if they are not agree. Yeah, even if they have this thing, they need to be agreed to take this out, because it was everybody that has demons. It is because you have unconsciously or consciously invite this energy to come into you. So unconsciously or so consciously, you need also to let it go. And if it doesn't work with ayahuasca, then it's the diet, as that I was talking about, because during this time you're cleaning, you're clearing, you're opening, and because the plants have so high vibration, then these dark energies cannot really stand. So they start to get weaker and weaker, and then one day they just go. And especially during the ceremonies. And then the person is going to feel, completely different. So that's how we do the exorcism in the ceremonies. When in a ceremony, I always felt the music and not hear it. I feel it in my whole body, inside and outside. Okay, well, I think that's a good step to feel the music, the vibration. But there are plants, for example, for people that want to find their Icaros, it's Bobinsana. It's the plant to open the heart as well, and that helps. It's very musical, very musical. But when the Icarus comes to you, you hear it, you hear the lyrics, you hear the music, and then you find yourself, singing it. And it's very beautiful experience when this music comes. Hey Tony, how do you know if a man's private is possessed? How do you get the demon out of a man's private? What do you mean with private? I don't understand. Tony, please can you clarify your question? May, I think you just know when I see the face and the eyes of a person when I well, normally you know how I recognize demons. I smell them. Actually, it smells like soft sulfur for me. So sometimes I can feel them even before we have the ceremony, and depending, again, of the level of consciousness, because some are very smart and they hide, and then we are able to see them in the ceremonies because they cannot hide them from there. But yeah, it's the experience that actually let us know when a person has a demon. It's not something that a person with 1 month of training will identify. It takes a while when you are able, like me, for example, when I can smell them and I make jokes with my friends, with my team, like, oh, I can smell demons. May. Oh, May, you're so beautiful. Thank you, May, for your words. How do you do it by yourself? There is work with the plants. As I have been explaining, you cannot do it by yourself. I mean, yes, you can. I don't say it's impossible, but it's going to take you much longer than having a person to instruct you, because we already have, a teacher has already commit the mistakes and will give you better advices for you to save time. It doesn't mean that it will that is a warrant for you, that even with the teacher that you are going to be able to learn how to work with the medicine. It's more about yourself. Well, my teacher, he was learning by his own because nobody wanted to teach him, but he did it the right way. So he was doing diets for 2 years and drinking ayahuasca, and he was not working with anybody in this time until he himself was not able first to until he was able to sync, until he was able to understand how the energies work. He was not working with anybody. But I really cannot do it how you do it, by yourself. Because in the level that I am, I can do it by myself. But I have never done it by myself when I didn't know anything. So I cannot really advise anybody because I don't know. I don't know what I can advise somebody that doesn't have the knowledge how to do it by their own, because I have not done it that way. So I will just, suggest you to find somebody to teach you, or just find by yourself, because if you want to do it alone, then take the consequence that comes with that. Then it's how to get rid of the parasites. Well, through the ceremonies, for example, with plants, it can be ayahuasca, can be boga, can be San Pedro. With the diets as well, there are certain plants that are especially for clear parasites, for example. And then when the parasites is out, the question is how not to get it back again. And then it's about, changing all your life habits, not drinking anymore, not having sex like crazy, because that's also a way of getting parasites. Being mindful of your thoughts, of your feelings, because you create, you invite these things. Like when you're angry, you open yourself and these things comes to you. So, there are many things about that. But I also invite you people, I have wrote a lot of articles about exorcisms and demons that you can check in my blog that is more detailed. Julie was asking which are the steps in the diet. Well, I was already explaining that first you have a ceremony where your teacher is going to see which is the plant that connects with you or that wants to work with you. Then you are going to take the plants for a certain period of time. Depending on the plant, you can take the bark, the roots, or the leaves, or flowers, depending on the purpose as well. And then, you're going to have these restrictions of food, sex, isolation, then during this time also you are having ceremonies to see your progression with the plant. So when my teacher, he used to cook the plants that we were dying together with ayahuasca. So he had this vibration in the medicine, and then we were able to learn more and to also talk with the plant, like, the spirit will present in our visions and it will explain to us things as well. And then we have, of course, the closing of the ceremony. So these are the steps for the diets. But it's always, you need someone to guide you, because if you do something wrong, as I say, you can get ill or you can get crazy also, depending on the plant that you are working with as well. May say she also smelled the demons. They smell like rotten eggs or meat. Yes, Santos. Now, there is not the strongest vibration and energy than love. So love is actually what heals us, what makes us free from anything. Anything that is not in that vibration, it just will go away. Okay, people, you have time to ask if you want. I don't know, Joshua say this shaman will disagree about the sex. This notion of sex being dangerous exists more so people don't lose their relevant paths by choosing. Well, there are many spiritual practices that, forbids the practice of sex for sex. Because the people that are in a high vibration understand that the purpose of, sex is basically making love, having a very profound and intense connection with another person. And if you understand that, then you also understand that your body is sacred, that the sex is a vehicle for you to damage yourself, and especially if you're a shaman, and all the work that you do, you need to take care of your energy, for example, because there is an exchange of energy when we are having sex, and we are not just having sex with the person that we are sleeping with in that moment, but with all the people that this person has been sleeping with, if that person has not been able to clear, themselves. So, and it goes into even, a molecular level, like into the DNA, all these things. So that's why they don't explain to us, of course, but in many spiritual practices, it's a discipline to handle the sexual energy, because it's very powerful. It brings life. And as it can bring life, it can bring also destruction for us. And that's why I say when you are doing your training, this is a way also to get to know yourself, get to know your weaknesses. For some people, sex, especially for guys, this is the weak part. Also for women. And they get lost in their paths by, having sex like crazy and being tempted by these energies. So that's why it's very important to get to know yourself, because if you have any weakness, that's the door that will bring corruption to yourself, to your work, and put in danger people that comes in your work. That's why I say this path is a lot of commitment. Like, for example, me, I'm single now, but I have a celibate boat. I'm not having any kind of intercourse with anybody, at least that I'm going to get married with this person. So that's my commitment with the plants, and it needs to be a person that is in the same path like me, because the work and the responsibility that I carry in my shoulders and for other people is big, and because half an hour of pleasure or whatever, I will not put in risk everything that I have been working for, and I will not put in risk people also for that. That's why I say discipline. This path is selfless path. Where we are living all the times in this. We are not in holidays. The work of the ayahuasca shaman is not just, when it's the ceremonies, but it's every single minute. And I think this is in general for every person that it's involved in spiritual practices, that to have discipline, to have commitment is a very important thing, because you're going to deliver healing, through yourself. And if you don't have respect for that, it's many healers that they get ill, because they don't really take care of their energies, or they get corrupt. Then they say like, but how people, how the spiritual people get into the dark place. That's how. If you have a weakness, if you have a temptations and you go for it, that's how you start to corrupt yourself, basically. Julian. he's asking, what is the difference between our demons, fears, and this smell? I can just smell it while I write about it. Well, the demons, I was saying, these are spirits with a lower vibration, let's say like that, with a vibration that is not in the light, with the consciousness, with the purpose. They have been beings of light, but they have disconnect and they have forgot about their essence. So they are a part of the consciousness that is not in the light, but that it has consciousness, just that is dark. And the fears in another hand, the fears are just illusions that we create because we don't know who we are, because we don't trust, because we don't have our heart open. It's a virus. It's an interference for our paths. And we create them. We give them power. So this, I hope that explains a little bit what demons, what are fears. And demons, for example, they get stronger through our fears. The fears are the food of the demons, let's say it like that. What do you do all day long in isolation while you are dieting? You are alone with yourself, reflecting. That's what you are doing there, being with yourself. And that, my friends, is one of the most difficult things people can do. And that's why we have so many distractions. We create many distractions around us so that we are not able to be with ourselves. And that's a very important part, of the training, that you are able to handle yourself. Because if you can handle yourself, then you can handle everything. If that had sense. Oh, Jose. Jose say that functions, that was a theory someone made, but you need to be more specific about what I don't know if you talk about the sexual energy. This is not a theory I have made. This is through my experience and the people that comes to my work that I can affirm about the sexual energies. Now, there are people that they have problems. When something is out of balance, when we abuse things, then it doesn't become medicine, or it doesn't become good anymore. It can become bad for us. And a lot of people defend, the sexual energy is a strong energy. It's a very powerful energy. It's a very pure energy. And that's why when working with these energies, you need to be pure in your heart. That you don't get, seduced by the flesh, and but using as a way of, pleasure just your body, instead of finding that connection that is also, with the heart, that is becoming love. So it's important to differentiate what in the sexual energy is attracting us, which part. That's what I believe. Last question. I always use the checkup in ceremonies more than the rattle and seed, which will be more invasive for healing. The tool that is more invasive for healing is love. Well, the checkup, it helps, the people to go into the trance, also helps to clear energies, but it's what you transmit as well. It's what you transmit. It's the intentions that you have when you are holding the space that is going to help the healing, because your vibration, your energy is going to make the difference for the people to be in trance or to be in fear, so that they allow themselves to open for the healing to happen. Yeah, exactly, Joshua. What do you say? You either look at true and avoid intentions that blurry you, or look at illusions that scare you. Yeah, well, there is a big difference between temptations and illusions, Julie, can you clean the sexual energy of the old relationship with ayahuasca? Actually, yes, but also there is a plant that is called Hergon Sacha that is specifically to clear sexual energies. Have you asked plants why they share the love, how their knowledge is given? It is pictures, a voice, a movie-like thing. Why they share their knowledge? Well, they share their knowledge because they love us. That's why. Because they want the best for us. But also they share the knowledge to the people that is looking for the knowledge. If you are not looking for the knowledge, they can scream at you and you will not be able to understand their language. They are always sharing their knowledge with us. Always. But we need to be able to see it, to listen it, to feel it. For me, how they have shared their knowledge was through a conversation like I'm talking right now with you, like that. They have presented themselves. The spirits of the plants, they look like people but different, you know? Like the spirit of Ajo Sacha, for example, is like has the shape of a person, of the body of the person, but they have a green skin and like lips and these kind of things, you know. And then they come and they have a conversation with me, and they also can show me, like in a movie, like, you know, they open I don't know how to say, a portal where I'm able to see, and they are in the background explaining me things. Like that. How did your depression manifest? Well, my depression, I like I was saying, my depression was, I was in that sense, I have awareness that I was not happy. Because if you're not happy, then you're sad, isn't it? Or you're angry. But yeah, depression, what is depression? Is when you are super sad. When you don't find a meaning, where everything doesn't have sense, you know. I knew my depression was gone when I feel happiness, when I found myself. That's how you know your depression is gone. If you're still feeling sad and, you know, like before, of course, it's not gone. Any advice for people to overcome the depression? Yeah, you need to find the purpose of your life, because many people that suffer from depression is because they have not found their purpose in life. And to find your purpose in life can take a while. So you need to keep perseverance with that. As long as it takes. Hello, Einstein. Thanks for the info. I'm considering going down the shaman lane. Any thoughts? You're more than welcome, Einstein. Well, like, you know, I say everybody has the opportunity to learn this path. I wish everybody can become a shaman. I really wish. But not everybody has, you know, what is needed. That's what I was saying in the introduction. Because you need to be aware, or you need to be open to confront all your fears and get rid of them. To be able to accept, to don't be afraid to go deep and deep and deep inside of you. To detach, to, you know, and the detachment going into a point like, yeah, sometimes you need to even let go of your family, your friends, because they perhaps are not collaborating with your path. Perhaps they are, you know, negative people. Or perhaps like me, that I need to travel and I cannot be with them. Or because, you know, is what is required from you. Like when a soldier goes to a war, you know. Hola, Alice. Charlotte. Hergon Sacha is spelled Gir. I need to write it. GRGONSACHA. Hergon Hergonsacha. Can you write down, please, the plant that cleans sexual energies? I will write it when I finish the video, I promise. I can't write right now. Hergonsacha. Hello. Is there a way for someone to know that there is a demon inside him even without help of shaman? Like, are there signs you can see, feel inside yourself? Well, a lot of people that I know that they have demons are also person that suffers from depression. But like, for example, me, I didn't have a demon, but because I didn't have a purpose in life, that's why I was depressed. But there are also people that they because they have a demon, the side effect of that is that they become depressed from night to day, like something just they don't really even know like when has happened. They just suddenly become depressed, for example. Most of people that they have demons that has a purpose of stopping your mission, the demons are not going to manifest in you, but they are going to use circumstance where you are not going to really be able to identify it. Maybe another person can identify it. And this is, for example, when you become angry. And you become angry to a level that maybe you want to go physical. Or you become more angry than usual. And for stupid things. And then this saying like, oh, you get angry like if you are possessed, And sometimes when somebody says to you that, is probably some energy that is using you. But it doesn't mean that it's because you have a demon. But because we get angry, sometimes energies can use us. They use the opportunities to work through that, to do their stuff. And that's also sometimes how they stay inside. They say, oh yeah, it's nice here. This person likes to get angry. So that's the energy I can feed off it, My ayahuasca teacher, well, for me, my teacher has been ayahuasca. Then I will not say the name of my teacher because he is not known. But if you want, I can send it by messenger. And also because I don't have his authorization to say his name here. Alexander Leon. What is the white light I am emitting in Aya session? White light, like an orb? White lights can be spirits that comes with very pure energy. It can be spirits of plants, depends. And there is also sometimes when you drink ayahuasca that you see the light, like it's the sunlight. This is the chacruna. The chacruna is the plant that has the light. The chacruna spirit, it looks like a white light as well. Yeah, like that. Are there signs also some within I have an article about ayahuasca and exorcism. There is also information about the signs of entities and parasites and with more detail. Well, the parasites, yeah, it's kind of similar as well. But they are not as annoying as the demons. It's like when you have a parasite, sometimes you get tired, like for no reason as well. You cannot focus. Yeah, this kind of symptoms. But like I say, most of these things, I mean, the symptoms can be, general. It can be also like when you have a demon. So it's a little bit difficult to say when you have a parasite or when you have a demon. Like I say, for me, when I know if they are in someone, it's because I smell this thing, the sulfur smell. Okay, well, apparently there is not more questions. I hope I have covered a little bit of information about the shamanic training. And I hope you have enjoyed. Thank you so much for being here. It's time for me to go to bed. It's 3 in the morning. I think so. And right now I'm in Bali. But my calendar has been already released. It's in my Facebook page. It says calendar 2018, and also in the Facebook page of Taita Inti, there is also the calendar. In my blog, naisha.blog, there is also the calendar. Laura is asking, is autism a demon case? Well, it can be, but also it can be because of vaccinations. And if it's because of vaccinations, then the work with ayahuasca is to restore what it has been disturbed, in the physical level. But it can happen that autism is a demon case. Good night. Okay, people, I invite you to check our calendars for next year, and we have still dates available if you want to host a retreat. And we have a new volunteer program where you can take part for free in the retreats under certain requirements. So we are going to be announcing that pretty soon. What else? I don't remember. Yeah, I'm going to try to post more articles. I have some, but I need to finish them. And I send you all of